Semi-final Friday from Saskatoon. It's Cody Jansen, Steven Stamp, Ryan Flaherty with you, live from the SaskTel Center, getting set for USA-Israel, our first semi-final this evening. These two teams met in the round robin. USA beat Israel 25-3. Both teams have a little bit of a different feeling, though. We've got some changes, and I think the rosters are going to look a little bit different as well.
Yeah, a little bit, and I think a key factor for each team, for Israel, honestly, I think smart transition. We've seen, Haverly and Bundy have run well, but at times the team as a whole gets a little scrambly. I think they need to play within themselves, but be pushing the envelope at the same time, which is a tricky balance. And I think for the U.S., they really want to get Tate Watts going, the big man who had such a good year last year. It's been pretty quiet, only one goal this year. Haven't seen a lot from him. I think they'd love to get him on track.
Israel's going to have to find a way to slow down Ryan Colsey as well. 13 goals in 2 games at this tournament. Between the benches this evening, it's Ryan Flaherty with us.
Yes, absolutely. And this, of course, being the first rematch we've seen here this week as we're into the semifinals. And it was a very lopsided affair when these two teams met in group play. 25-3, the U.S. beating Israel very handily. But the Israel team got their confidence back yesterday with a big 25-goal performance themselves against Australia. So they're feeling a lot better now heading into the semifinals. But as you touched on, Stamper, they need to play some smarter lacrosse. They can't get caught up in a run-and-gun game with the U.S., but also the size of the U.S. provided some problems for them as well in that first matchup, so they feel using their minds will maybe help to offset some of that athleticism disparity there. And meanwhile, for the U.S., they're feeling really good about themselves. 2 wins in group play. They had the day off. They feel fresh, and they didn't really find any weak spots in their game in that last matchup against Israel, so it's more of the same, they hope, and again, looking to book their spot in that gold medal game.
USA 2-0 in the round robin. Israel was 1-1. They picked up a 25-6 win in the quarterfinals over Australia yesterday. Steven Stamp, we got to talk with Oliver Marty. We got to talk with Stu Sturparn. I think the general consensus is all the pressure is on the boys in dark blue tonight.
Yes, I mean, everyone's expecting the U.S. to win. As Stu Sturparn said, of course the pressure's on them. They're the USA. And the score, the sheer difference in the score in the first game is going to make a huge difference, right? I mean, you expect the team that won 25-3 is going to come out and roll. Now, Israel is playing Mark Ripberger, their number 1 goalie today. That's going to make a difference. The U.S. goes back with, there's Ripberger right there. The U.S. coming back with Jackson Curtis, who has an .852 save percentage, allowing just 7.2 goals per game. Ripperger's at a .786. So is that an edge for the U.S.? Certainly it should be a closer contest between the goaltenders. And Curtis is good, but he's young.
And I'm curious to see how the rest plays for them as you get a look there at Matt Bundy, one of the fastest players in the tournament. Yes. I know beforehand we talked about him, and sometimes you're just amazed by the way he can cruise up the floor. Israel has to play with more speed. We all know the athletes that the Americans have. They are great physically, but sometimes doesn't always play well in their favor if you're going too fast and turning the ball over. Like Oliver Marty said, they did in their opener against Scotland, where they let them back in after going up 9-2 in a big way. At the dot, Justin Haverly is going to be the man for Israel, and Ian Geismit has been the one for USA all week long. Ref is ready. Ball is down, and we are underway in semifinal number 1 at the 2023 IIJL World Juniors. It's Cody Jansen, Steven Stamp, Ryan Flaherty with you from SaskTel Center in Saskatchewan. Tate Watts has the ball up top. DJ Carl joins in on the attack. USA little hook and roll down inside. Furmander all alone, and he's stopped by Mark Ripberger. A defensive error early.
Big defensive gap by Israel and a huge save by Ripberger as Furmander had all kinds of time, and that has to give the Israel a little more confidence coming out, just to know they can feel a little mistake here and there won't kill them.
Hockenstein rolls this one through the middle. It's still hopping around. Easton Burns can't get to it. In to help out. He had some support, but it'll be popped up and run the other way by Ethan Kessler. Kessler now 2-on-1. Carl scores! TJ Carl draws first blood, and USA goes up 53 seconds into the game.
It's a nice play by Carl to get his first goal of the tournament. He didn't play the first game, had 5 assists in the U.S.'s second game, but didn't get a goal. He takes this one, you can see the step across, and just bounces that one home, and it's huge to have him just kind of bang that one through the goaltender. You can see how fired up he is, and you're talking about the speed and all, and some of these fast guys. There's also Jarrett Rogowski for Israel is one that I didn't mention, and we just saw some speed there from the U.S. with Kessler.
USA possession off the Geisman face-off win. We talked about turnovers, and Israel can't afford them, and Steen throwing that errant pass through the middle has cost him one already in this contest. Nate Senes down into the corner. Josiah DeGrasse pushed back. Vandenberg, another inside look. Colsey trying to go low again. This time Rittberger read it well behind the play. Colsey's going to get dinged for one here. Delayed call coming. He ran over his defender trying to head to the bench. So Israel goes 6-on-5. Josh Fodchuk, the lefty, has Jackson Baker out there. The two of them will set up. Ball got zipped over for Steen. Back for Fodchuk, had to catch it on his backhand. Here's Baker low to low. Curtis dropped that leg, but it misses short side. And now Israel going to the power play for the first time in the game. It'll be a slashing call, I believe, on Colsey.
Yeah, there's a slashing indication, and this is just a... sometimes forwards get frustrated up in the offensive zone. Not to put any kind of crazy expectations or comparison on him, but that's the kind of thing that John Grant Jr. would often do. Usually once a game, he'd get annoyed with somebody and just swat someone and he'd take a penalty.
Jackson Baker's up top on this power play. Josh Fodchuk's on the right, Hawkinstein on the left. Tompkins is going to play the low righty spot, and Burns will play the low lefty. Israel turns it over, though, and it'll have 5 seconds left for Brett Newman to get it over half, and he just will. Tompkins to the bench, where Rogalski's there to help out as well. Run down by Marco Fermander. Haven't seen much of Cooper Damali yet. Missed the Americans last game with a lower body injury. They don't have Liam Quinn in this lineup either. Nate Senes to the middle. Dumps it down into the corner as the shot clock is expiring. And on that opportunity, I think if you're Oliver Marty, you still want to see him shoot it. You might as well test out the goaltender Rittberger, but nonetheless, Israel's going back the other way. Fodchuk for Baker up top. First power play look wasn't successful. We'll see if they change anything now. Tompkins is in the corner. Baker to Fodchuk, short side, he rings iron. Hit the posts half a dozen times yesterday against Australia. Now he's looking to find the back of the net here more, and the tournament moves along. Baker up top, looking to go stick side, misses Jackson Curtis, and Baker's going to have to get back quickly, and he won't be able to hold it on the side of half. You saw a little casual maybe as he thought he could one-arm it back, and his balance and momentum took him over the line.
Looked like Baker thought he had more time to get there than he did. He actually looked back to make sure he was clear, and then was going pretty casually, like you said, towards it, and that wound up costing him.
Senes near side. 25 seconds left in the Colsey penalty. 10 on the shot clock. Senes holds on. Be defended by Jackson Weatherby. This time the opposite to flip it in the other corner. Not sure if he was wanting Josiah DeGrasse to go there or not, but end of the day, it's no harm, no foul. Now there's not a lot of time for Israel to work with on the power play. Jackson Baker has to be careful. The guy behind him, Fodchuk, wants to shoot. Short side again. Curtis knew where he was going, and he cut off the angle. Loose ball still on the ground. USA will recover, and the outlet's going to get worked up for Chota. But Chota's got a 3-on-2 if he wants to run. The big righty now hits the E-brake, and he'll wait for some offensive experts to get out the OK. Spencer Vandenberg has Tate Watts there. We talked about Watts in the pregame show. A big kid, had a great tournament last year. He's been relatively quiet in 2023. Pass out in front, deflected by Dick Turrell, and it rolls into the crease of Rittberger.
Watts can make a lot of noise in a hurry. So it's, I think it will be important for them to get him going.
Justice Cutler net just finished his first season at junior lacrosse. Steen into the corner. Kirsch up top for Tompkins. Hard pick got set by Steen, and Fodchuk's got to leave the rock on the carpet. Nate Senes, he's been a driving force as a returnee on this American squad. Into the corner, ball back for Furmander. He's pushed down by Bundy. Little drag to the middle, and Reach is going to get a stick in there on Colsey, and that's something we didn't see Israel do in the round-robin game, was actively get on the forwards and not give them that time and space.
It's true. The pressure to take away the options, or if they were going out, they were getting out too far and kind of running at them instead of going out under control.
Very perimeter so far for Israel as Hawkinstein throws away another one. Nate Senes back on defense, picked it up, and now he's going to have an extended shift here. Dishes it off for DeGrasse, trying to go topside. Now he cuts underneath, and Ripberger makes a save, moving to his left. Long outlet, and Israel turns it over one more time. Pichota thought about turning on the Jets for a second, decided to wait it out as Tate Watts was calling for the pass. Now we'll see Colsey cut through the middle, zipped one over to Tate Watts. His bouncer goes wide and out of play. Justice Cutler got tied up with Tate Watts. That's two big boys in the D zone. Corbin Wiley. Fodchuk. Fodchuk waits for Burns to get on the floor. He'll scan in the corner, 15 on the shot clock. Up for Kush. Tompkins now trying to find someone to pass the ball to. 5 to shoot. That one goes way wide. Solar Camille now on the roll, misses the net, and Israel just one shot in the opening 7 minutes of this game.
And the U.S. defense had just set a perimeter, looking zone-ish as they just wouldn't let anybody through and passing everybody off. There was no openings that they were allowing. Israel's really got to get some people going inside and just force the U.S. to move around.
Ryan Colsey drives. This time Ripberger got a piece of it with that left arm, and back the other way. Jarrett Rogalski almost had a break. Pass was just in front of his right hand, and now Rogalski swings once on the loose ball, and it's going to be USA to head north again. Israel's had their chances.
Yeah, those are the little plays you're talking about. You've got to get possession. You can't turn it over. That's not a turnover technically, but Rogalski coming up with that ball would have made a big difference to give them the offensive set that they could work with.
USA looking to double their lead. Inside's Carawan. Bouncer went off the shoulder of Ripberger. He had to track it after the fact. The clock got reset. Reish beat down low as Tate Watts got a quick stick off, but he already knocked down the defender.
There was a reason he was that wide open, and that was because the defender was lying flat, prone on the carpet after a big old push from big, strong Tate Watts.
Cross check on the back of Weatherby. Jackson Baker now. He's knocked off the ball. It ends up on the ground, and they're going to run past Fodchuk as well in transition. It's Ethan Kessler. Kessler now over to his backhand side. On the floor is TJ Carl. Lone goal scorer in this game so far. Played just over 8 minutes. Israel defense backing up. Carawan tried to shoot over him. It went off something and ends up out of play.
And by this time of the first quarter in the round robin game between these teams, it was 4-0 U.S. and it was already looking very one-sided. So it's a big difference so far, even though Israel hasn't produced a lot of offensive chances.
Hawkinstein, little dish inside for Reedy, who ends up dropping the pass. Pichota in transition. Solar Camille as Hawkinstein lowers the boom on Pichota. We've seen some big hits this week, and Hawkinstein has just put his shoulder into number 13 in blue.
It's a really nice play in transition defense there to break that up and take away the chances. The U.S. was looking dangerous.
I'll see if Fodchuk can get rolling. Little flip inside. Burns got knocked down. Rebound for Reish, and Curtis makes the save with the right shoulder, and then Reish plays that one after cutting through the crease.
Yeah, bit of a mental error there by Reish. He had to know he'd gone through the crease there. There's a great chance. He went for that little opening over the far shoulder. Jackson Curtis just so quick at adjusting.
If you're Reish in that situation, you have to leave the ball, either let the American pick it up or you try box him out and get help from a teammate. Can't be scooping it back. Jackson Carawan now. Weatherby will defend. He's pushed out. Corbin Wiley's got to slide down low. Out in front. Carawan, and he scores. around 2 defenders. Jackson Caruan finds the back of the net, and it's the Ohio kid to make it 2-0.
Yeah, this is a nice athletic play by Caruan. You see how quickly he goes, but Wiley just can't let him get under there on his own. You can't let him go where you've got no help. It's so hard to get the other defenders to come across in time. When you get beaten, especially that close to the net, you have to set your feet down below him.
Bundy knocked down Giesemann, and that's going to be a call on Israel. 6-on-5, USA will set it up as DeGrasse gets the slowdown motion from Colsey. Carl for Senes. 5 on the shot clock. DeGrasse, crease dive, pulls it short side and scores. Gets some air. Josiah DeGrasse has his first of the game. He can wave off the penalty, and USA's up by a field goal.
DeGrasse with his 6th of the tournament. He's been pretty quiet. A lot of these U.S. players have kind of contributed quietly, I guess, compared to Colsey with his 13 goals. Everything else looks a bit quiet, but it's a lovely athletic play. The quick step underneath, and again, Israel just letting guys get open lanes to the net. You've got to force them out into your help.
Well, we talked about how close it was a couple minutes ago. It's certainly falling away from Israel shortly, and they got to stop the bleeding.
Stu Sturparn did talk about how his team tended to be a little overwhelmed just seeing the USA on the jersey, and now they think they're just another team. But right now they're not playing like it's just another team.
Jackson Baker, one-arm flip for Fodchuk. He'll try to go high, buzzes the tower of Curtis as Hawkinstein just got there. 5 on the shot clock. Bouncer on goal. Curtis makes the save, and he'll find an outlet pass and TJ Carl. Good second effort by Hawkinstein, but end of the day, it doesn't draw much of a scoring chance for the Israeli side. Vandenberg. Dick Carl does it on the shot clock, trying to go low on Ripberger. Didn't look that comfortable. He makes the save.
There's something about the look of a goalie when he's not sure where the ball is. It just draws the sympathy because you just know he's afraid to move and let it maybe roll out.
Hawkinstein, 7 goals so far in the tournament, trying to flip it inside for Tompkins, and yet again bounces back to Curtis as that American defense is really collapsing around the crease.
Yeah, they'll go out and meet Israel, but then they come back. Like saying, just don't give them space.
Boney for Colsey. And Ripberger with a good save there to keep the deficit at 3.
That got within a couple inches of the line, though. That was very close. You can see from behind here. That's a bit further than I thought, but still, it did get partway through.
Fodchuk has his shot blocked, and you can see frustration starting to build on this Israel side. DeGrasse now going behind the back, defender all over him. Easy call coming as Ariel Solar Camille is going to head to the sin bin.
And Solar Camille, I thought, did a really nice job earlier in the game, hustling back to take away a transition chance. And this one, I think he may have wanted to just sprint a little bit harder because he was a bit behind and wound up having to grab on, and that's an obvious hold.
Ryan Flaherty, you're by the Israel bench. You can obviously hear what's going on down there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of positive talk about some of the things that they're doing. They think they like their changes so far better than the last time they played, but Jackson Fodchuk in particular, very frustrated with his inability to get to the inside and get his shots through. Came off his last shift, slammed his stick down hard on the bench, and a few choice words as well.
Tate Watts up top on the power play. Senes on the roll. It's Strube, and a kick save made by Ripberger. Senes zips one over inside Tate Watts. Little spin on the outside, trying to bounce it 5-hole. Ripberger made the save. Loose ball was on the ground and poked in by Watts, but he was in the crease already.
And if you're not familiar with the rule, you can't just poke the ball in. Anyway, you have to possess it in the mesh of your stick if you're going to pick it up in the crease and put it in. So even had he been clear, no goal there. Official right on top of the play.
I know it's a rule. I don't love it, though. Hawkinstein shorthanded. Israel looking to kill some clock, but they also need offense. Here's Fodchuk. Far side, it's off the post. Josh Fodchuk's hit both posts now in the opening quarter of this game.
That wasn't clarifying for your benefit, by the way.
Israel with the forecheck, and they got to get back, get their 3 forwards off the floor. Senes Kind of a hidden ball trick with Carl. Wasn't fooling anyone, and the Americans a very slow change to get out on the floor. They're just getting their 5th out with 9 on the shot clock. Carl and Senes near side. Cooper Damali's up top on the power play. Colsey now one to shoot, misses the net, and this is going to bounce all the way down into his own zone.
Gives Israel a chance to kill the final 29 seconds of this power play. And that was a strange shift for the U.S. on the power play. It was really 8 seconds left on the shot clock by the time they got everyone out there into formation.
It was a really bad change.
Yes.
That's where they got held up. Jackson Baker's up top with Eric Tompkins. Tompkins building a bit of confidence as the week goes on. Zips one over to Fodchuk. Defender all over him, doesn't, as he zips one back over to Tompkins, and a bit of a forced pass is going to get turned over the other way. It's Forney who's able to pick it off, hands it over to Senes, 2 on the power play, so Solar Camille's coming out, and USA won't be able to capitalize on their man advantage. Dozen on the ticker. Colsey's in the corner. Strube sets the pick, and Colsey looking to pull this one short side is going to bounce it all the way down by his own bench. Now Bundy. Head of steam. Going to get pushed back by the defender in Newman.
I like the Bundy's looking to the net there. I mean, it wasn't there. It probably wasn't going to be there, but you don't know unless you try to push it and see what's available.
Hawkins Steen, little spin move, has space, and he won't shoot from up top. Pachota gets a healthy whack on him. Fodchuk. This time he tries to go low. Back over to Tompkins, short side. Curtis makes the easy save as he seals off the right pipe. Outlet for Vandenberg. Doesn't left to go in the quarter. USA's going to go 6-on-5. Curtis is on the bench. USA a little slow to get their 6th man out again. DeGrasse is going to try to run it up by himself. Clock's going to run out on him before they get an open look. The ball was held in the corner there. I believe that was Colsey. Couldn't really find anyone out front, and the Americans run out of time, but they're up by 3. Israel shut out in the opening quarter. We're back with second quarter action from SaskTel Center next. BioSteel is the official drink of the 2023 IIJL World Juniors. Thanks to BioSteel for helping out the athletes on the floor. Down between the benches, it's Ryan Flaherty.
Here with USA coach Oliver Marty. Oliver, 3-0 here after one quarter play. What have you liked the most about your team so far?
We're just a hustle. Their goalie's playing well. We got to shoot a little bit better, but solid on D. We're doing our job on the face-off, and like I said, we just he's a good goaltender, so we got to move him a little bit and put some by him.
You had the day off yesterday. They played, obviously. Do you think that is a benefit at all for your side?
Oh, 100%. Sure. We got to work on some things we wanted to do. They're probably a little more tired than we are, so yeah, it's always a benefit.
All right, thanks for this.
Thanks, Ryan.
Guys?
Tech Savvy. A huge thanks to them for helping put on the broadcast here at the 2023 IIJL World Juniors. You heard from Oliver Marty on the American bench, and obviously the day off has helped. they've had one of the friendlier schedules. You play a round-robin game, you get a day off. You play a round-robin game, you get a day off. And obviously, they are looking at that as an advantage as they hopefully advance to a gold medal game tomorrow, which could very well likely be against Canada. Back underway, quarter number 2. Haverly lost the ball off that, and Giesman is able to outlet over to Forney, who is in a good spot to receive the pass. Carson Forney zips one over to Vandenberg. Now the righties get to go to work. USA up 3-0 here. Carls, Carawan, and DeGrasse with the goals in the opening quarter. Carawan. Keep it hot. Colsey behind the back, stopped by Rittberger.
The practice schedule was a little probably beneficial for the U.S. too. They got an earlier practice this morning.
Carawan up the floor, intended for Vandenberg, who got dumped by Cutler. Ball's on the ground, and Justice Cutler is going to get it. Israel, now I wait to see if Stu Sturparn's squad can play with a little bit of speed here, but Cutler, that's not going to help as it's Jackson Carawan on the back check. Got the ball free.
I say the U.S. practiced earlier, Israel after them, and then had to get back on the bus a little earlier this afternoon. So things are a bit tight for Israel in their prep.
Fermander for Watts. Help comes off the bench, and Ryan Colsey inside to Tate Watts. Rogalski's on him, and I think he's going to get a holding call here. Had a hold of Tate Watts' stick, trying to force it free. Backdoor for Colsey. Save made by Rittberger, and he's got the rebound as well.
It's a holding call, as you surmised. And Rogalski is arguing that he's just moving. He's just chopping down on him, but it is hard to deal with Tate Watts. He is just a big load of a player and so strong. And even after the hold, and he fights for everybody, he got a pretty good pass over to Roy Colsey to create a great chance. It took quite a save from Rittberger to keep this one at 3-0 and go to the power play instead of giving up the goal with the extra attacker.
Damali for Stroop. Ryan Colsey's in the corner. Cooper Damali will quarterback this power play here. He can also fire from up top, but he's been battling some injuries throughout the week. Strube on the roll up top, outside for Senes. Saves made by Rittberger. And he's able to get to the rebound before the American, who was standing crease side. Jackson Weatherby now trying to use his feet to get around DeGrasse. And now the pass back just got knocked out. Hawkenstein has it, and Weatherby tripped up DeGrasse, and that's going to be a call. Weatherby's going off. It'll be a 5-on-3 for the Americans for 84 seconds.
This is a great angle. That was a hard one for us to see, but you can see just two-hand grabs onto his leg. And we couldn't see that with the boards from our angle, but it looked like that's what he did. And I'm not sure what he's arguing about. I know he got knocked down, lost the ball. He's frustrated, but you can't just tackle a guy. A minute 24 of the 5-on-3 for the U.S. That is just a recipe for disaster for Israel.
We'll see. It looked like they might throw 5 in for a second. Now they'll actually get set up in a 4-on-3. Backdoor quick stick. Colsey's pass. And Senes was denied by Rittberger. Pardon me, that was Carl in the backdoor. Here's Colsey on a break. Ryan Colsey fires it over the net. Haven't seen him miss too many of those throughout the week.
No, and that was just handing the ball twice in a row now, right over to the U.S. while you're shorthanded 3-on-5. Somebody's got to go help him out.
5-on-3 kill, and you stretch it into triple team coverage. I don't know if I like that play for Israel. Now they got to defend again. Colsey zips one up. Senes, Strube, low to high. Off target, backdoor. Colsey, and he scores. There's the first of the game. Ryan Colsey has his 14th of the tournament.
Nice effort by Rittberger to try and get across. It looked like he got some of it, but there's not much chance. He is out on a high arc, comes across hard, and Colsey, we'll see it better on this angle, just how high Rittberger is. And actually, he didn't even touch it. He wasn't even close. As we look at that angle, Colsey just buries that. And yeah, you don't want to let him get going, because when he gets hot, he'll just keep pouring them in.
Ryan Colsey, his first point of the game as well. USA now 1 for 2 on the power play, and they got another for 62 seconds.
USA goal scored on the power play by number 3,
Damali now heads off, or he thought about going off here. Another slow setup for the Americans. They got 3 to shoot. It'll be Strube, high to high. Rogalski got his stick in the way. And now they can kill all but 10 seconds of this American power play.
I mean, killing the power play will be great if you kill one of them, but boy, Israel really needs to get something going and start to just believe in themselves a bit more. It doesn't look like they feel like they can compete in this game to this point.
And they had a chance to eat off a good chunk of that 5-on-3 and ended up turning it over. So Hawkins Steen now 1-on-2. We'll see if he can generate some offense. Steen spins back, 1 on the shot clock, and he'll just have to leave that one on the turf. Couldn't even dump it in the corner. Back to even strength in a couple of seconds. Pachota waits for Ryan Colsey to jump out on the floor. The University of Virginia product now. Senes will spin back on Rogalski. Vandenberg, Colsey keeps it hot. Carawat swim move inside. Good kick by Ripberger with the left pad, but USA gets the reset. Colsey again, defended by Reich. Got through him, out in front. Colsey, little fadeaway, put it off the outside of the net. Reedy on Senes. Kotler's going to slide down as well on Carl. Spencer Vandenberg. The Lynchburg product. Works this one down. Carl's cutting through the middle. Room to shoot. And again, trying to put it at the feet of Ripberger. And Mark Ripberger makes another save. His 14th of the game. Reedy has Weatherby up there. Jackson Baker's off the bench. Show to Baker. Inside. Save made by Curtis. And after that one, Weatherby got dumped in front. I think he wants a call, but none is coming. Pachota.
It's the most dangerous look Israel's had so far, and that makes the shots listed at 18-5. I think that's their first shot on goal officially recorded in about 8 minutes.
It's the look Jackson Baker wants, but the defender was hot on his tail and it forced him into an uncomfortable situation. Dick Turrell now, and the Americans aren't going to get a shot. They'll just dump that one in the corner as TJ Carl goes for a change.
We talked about the relative or comparative score to the other game earlier. By this point in their round robin game, the U.S. was up 10-1. So obviously, again, better for Israel, but they're not generating the chances they need to yet. Last one was good.
Tompkins will peel back. Furmander defense. For Jackson Baker, outside look. Curtis got it with the right hand. Kush for Fodchuk. Back over to Tompkins. Tompkins now short side, had space, and that's a good save by Jackson Curtis, who got it with the right pat.
I really liked what Fodchuk did there on the far side. He didn't try to force it earlier when Tompkins was cutting. He waited and had the patience, and it feels like they would have been forcing earlier in the game, you know?
Tompkins trying to go 1-on-2, lost the ball, and USA can work it up the floor. They just haven't been able to build any momentum. They're not getting the recurring offensive shifts and resets. They're playing a lot of run and gun ball, and you can't do that with this American side. Cooper Damali now. Push back, Reich, pass from Watts. Watts in front. Vandenberger was all alone, and Ripberger got it, and now Ripberger throws an airmail down the floor. Corbin Wiley catches up to it, but he's almost touching the end boards. Wiley for Bundy. Back checker on him. Bundy to the middle. Now Hawkins-Steen slows it down with a dozen. Burns misses the net, and USA is going to get possession and run back the other way. Agbrutton, Pachota, one more. Carl cutting inside, of Senes. Save made by Ripberger. And now just error as Solar Camille cut right back through the crease.
I don't want to be negative, but I mean, Jarrett Rogalski got back there. I was going to say he got back in great time to take away that transition chance. Then he just let the U.S. forward sit open and left him passing lane.
Stroop. A little cut to the inside. Now it's kicked back. Colsey down low behind the net. Carl wants the dunk attempt, and they'll say his toe was in the crease.
Intriguing.
Get a quick replay of it there, and you can see that left toe touch white paint.
Good call.
Tompkins over the restraining line. Jackson Baker's back up top. Down for Steen. Now Steen got hit into the boards by Ethan Kessler, and it'll be a fresh 30 clock for Israel. I want to see Israel up the intensity here. They're playing very laid back, and down by 4. They're far from out of it. Fodchuk on the roll. Up high, Curtis makes the save. And I think Israel's got to also start putting some by the feet of Jackson Curtis, because up high is not dropping for him.
And Drew Lazar was saying he feels he needs to stay more calm on the bench as a coach, because when he gets too fired up, it gets them too fired up and they're not effective. But it's a balance, finding the right level of arousal. Colsey.
Ball got popped up, and Watts got run over by Reedy. Now they're going to call Reedy on a slash, I assume, or a rough. One of those plays where you don't see called in summer ball, but Ben Reedy a little too overzealous here on Tate Watts.
I think the first one was probably the penalty, and then the official, Tanner Fetch there says, "Oh, I missed that one," but he gives him a little shove. He go after him on that one.
USA power play 1 for 3 in the game. 4th opportunity in quarter number 2. Stroop. Damali's up top. Stroop goes down for Colsey. Stroop now on the roll. It's a lefty strong look. Damali's in the middle. Doesn't miss by much on that short side. They still got 5 to run. Stroop, Damali, long range, puts it right in the crest of Rittberger. Jackson Weatherby now over the restraining line. Corbin Wiley's in the middle, causing some havoc as Josh Fodchuk will look to have some space opened up for him. He's an outside shooter, but they got to be setting better picks if they want him to get the looks that he can capitalize on. Here's Tompkins, a low to low. Guess it didn't go off of Curtis's pad, so it'll be over and back, and we'll play 4-on-4 for a minute. Down between the benches, Ryan Flaherty is standing by.
Yeah, you guys have been doing a great job of just describing how well the U.S. is playing defensively. And I can tell you, Oliver Marty, after that first quarter, all he had to say was nothing but positive things to his team, just loving the way they're keeping that Israel team to the perimeter. One thing he would like to see them do a little bit better is not overextend their shifts and find their shots maybe a little bit earlier at times.
Hawkins Steen on the roll up the middle, peels back on the SaskTel logo. Passes it down for Burns. He got cracked on the side of the ear. Another penalty coming. Hawkins Steen now. It'll be a 5-on-4 as Tompkins got tripped up as Pachota will touch up. And Israel going to the power play here with 4:53 left to go in quarter number 2.
And at a 4-on-3, it does make for more space. You can see that stick just riding up. Not a vicious check, but definitely up into the bucket. And we will have 35 seconds of 4-on-3.
And now this is where you need the skill of Israel to come through. Fodchuk's up top, Steen, Burns, and Tompkins are the others on the floor. Hawkins, Steen, Fodchuk trying to go top shelf, missed the mark, and back the other way. It'll be a break for Pachota. Jason Pachota all alone. Fake, and he scores. Top shelf on Rittberger. It's a shorty for Pachota, and USA's up by 5.
Boy, that's a tough one to take. I mean, the ball just bounces high. Pachota has time to look. I've actually had enough time to think about how I've been discussing with a bunch of people how it's difficult when you have so much time. You tend to overthink and outthink yourself a bit. We saw that with Nate Weens yesterday for Poland, where they said they let him take the penalty shot, and they thought he just outthought himself. He had too much time. But when he got a breakaway later, he just acted on instinct and banged it home. Pachota, though, very calmly tucked that one in.
Pachota's got 2 in the tournament now in the Americans' 3rd game of the week. Israel still on the power play. It'll be a 5-on-3 in about 5 seconds time. Hawkins Steen for Jackson Baker. Down to Fodchuk. Fodchuk to the middle, and he scores. Turn on the red light. Josh Fodchuk has his first of the game, and Israel's on the board.
And Ben Reedy gets a plus on the plus-minus of the score sheet because he was just trotting across the floor. But I was just about to say, for Israel, now they're going to have somebody to be a safety valve back at the back. They don't need it. Fodchuk, who, as you said, got a little frustrated in their previous games. He had a bunch of posts, was just feeling a bit snake bit, but he is dynamic and so quick and gets a really nice shot off there to get Israel going. And they're still on the power play for another 81 seconds.
Fodchuk's got 6 in the tournament, and I know the numbers don't tell the full story, but he's one of the best shooters in Saskatoon this week. Ball up top for Hawkins-Steen. Still a power play for the next 65 seconds. Jackson Baker. They finally were able to open up Fodchuk. Let's see if they can get something else rolling. Trying the Burns quick stick. He scored a couple of times against Australia like that yesterday. This one won't connect, and the Americans, dangerous shorthanded, are going back the other way. And it's a low pass. Ends up in the feet of Carson Eggbrotten. Israel will see if they want to push the pace now. Wiley's up the floor. Back for Tompkins, and he dropped the pass. If he catches that cleanly, he's got an A-grade scoring opportunity. Couldn't corral it, though.
U.S. had 2 shorthanded goals in the first game against Israel. Already won today, and glorious opportunities to get more.
Ryan Colsey can kill almost all of the remaining American penalty to Kessler. 5 on the shot clock. A little double pick got set there. Colsey trying to go stick side. Ripberger took away the angle, and now if you're Israel, chance to go with a little bit of speed. Weatherby got dumped. Israel bench wants a call. None's coming.
They're getting frustrated in Jackson Weatherby in particular because he feels like he's been leveled a couple of times when he got a penalty for what he feels like and they feel like was less contact.
Hawkins-Steen now crease dive. Curtis got an arm on it. Looked like it was a clean jump there, but Jackson Curtis still makes the save like you have to.
Got some springs in those feet. He flew across there.
DeGrasse spins around Cutler. Dumped it up top, Furmander. 6'1", 200-pound kid for Colsey. Colsey now, backdoor feed. Room opens up and Senez scores. Puts it 5-hole on Ripberger. It's 6-1.
Nate Senez, who entered this game second on the U.S. in scoring with 6 goals and 8 assists, and he gets it done very quietly. This is a nice little touch pass by Colsey, and you can see how quickly Senez releases. He starts faking and then sees his angle, and the ball is out of his stick in a flash.
Another defensive assignment gone away for Israel, where there's no way Senez should have that much time ever right by the crease.
Nobody near him. It's like nobody was even covering him.
Tate Watts now wants to go through the crease. Ripberger makes a save, and the defender got flattened.
And to be fair to the Israel defense there, that may have been somebody losing Colsey because there was the defender coming across to him, which is partly what opened up Senez so much.
Bundy has Tompkins coming off the bench. Solar Camille's in the middle as well. Josh Fodchuk's the 5th forward. Tompkins, Reish now sets a pick. Tompkins goes through the crease and he scores. Eric Tompkins now jumps into the middle, goes low on Curtis, and it's 6-2.
They can call him Air Tompkins as he takes off on this one, gliding across. He is horizontal and tucks it back, really hard back to his left, just jamming it under the leg. Very close because Curtis did get a bit of it, and it was close to when he touched down, but that's a good goal. And Tompkins, you can see, a little relieved. He's got his first goal of the tournament, and he is happy to be contributing. He's had some chances. Always nice to break the goose egg.
The 2006 born forward now brings Israel within 4. 90 seconds to go in the opening half. Forney finds some help on the outside. Carawan and Strube are on the near side, but cutting in's DeGrasse. Wanted to do it by himself, and Ripberger with a big save there, who's been strong. He's made 18 saves in this opening half, but they'll need him to find a new gear in the third and fourth quarters if they want a chance to win.
Or give him a bit more support and not force him to step it up too much higher.
Hawkinstein for Jackson Baker. Solar Camille sets the pick. Baker's pass intended for Tompkins. Carawan is down there, got his stick in the way. Spins back, and Israel won't get the pressure on him as Ethan Kessler gets it up over the restraining line. Hands it to Carawan. Extended shift for him. 33 seconds to go here. Furmander back to Carawan. Room in the middle, zips it outside for Carl. Reish is going to pinch him off. Ball got scooped in the middle. Israel now, it's time to get a timeout in. They thought Cutler might have tried a stretch pass there as Solar Camille was hopping around. Wisely, they got a timeout, and now Stu Serpart and company can grab the clipboard.
Yeah, definitely I think a wise decision to pull that one up and let your coach get the timeout. They could have got it even while the ball was in the air, but I think we should see what Ryan Flaherty has to say, because he looks like he's itching to share some news.
Microphone in hand, always ready to share some news. It's just really interesting sitting here next to the both benches, obviously, but Justin Haverly, who's right next to me here on the Israel bench, the face-off man for Israel. He is living and dying with every play from start to finish. He is one of the emotional leaders of this team, and he's been urging his teammates, somebody needs to set the tone, and perhaps it might be him.
Well, Haverly was interesting because he has 4 goals, and they have been some big goals coming off face-off wins largely, and driving to the net, very straight line kind of player, and he's got to get opportunities, and hasn't really had them yet. But it does seem like the kind of guy who can inject something into this team.
Yeah, he also can lay the body as well, and you wonder with the way Israel's been playing this one. I think you don't want to sit in the box, but you got to have more of an impact on the game, and sometimes that does come down to throwing the bodies. You got to look at John Kilbride trying to get the correct units out on the floor. So Josh Vodchuk's going to start the back on his own restraining line. 15.8 seconds left to go in the frame. 6 on 5. 4 lefties on the floor. An interesting look. Hawkinstein back over to Baker. Baker's shot ends up behind the net. 5 seconds left. 40's going to have a look at the empty net here. USA is going to use their timeout instead. And Oliver Marty wants them to check the clock with about 4 seconds. I'm not sure they can. Well, you can't go back to video, obviously. I guess they can talk and see if the ref saw something tick off, but I think it's unlikely they add time back on.
They are going up to 4. I mean, I think they often do, right, in a game where if they hear the timeout and they look up and see it's still going, if somebody had a look, because a lot of times I think what refs will do is take a look at the clock as soon as they hear timeout and as they blow it. So I think it's probably reasonable to put 4 back up, but and it's critical. I mean, a lot of times coaches are arguing for more time in the clock, but here it is critical because there was 2.6 seconds showing. That's not much time to get down the floor. Neither is 4, but that could be a critical point.
Well, if they see it, that's great. But if we're just going with best educated guess, then that's where the issue comes in. Ryan Flaherty between the benches. Ryan, USA, I think they're just going to air bail one or what?
Yeah, they are going to put 4 seconds on here. But I mean, they're starting with the ball on the defensive end, so they don't have a lot of options here. Really need that home run pass to connect and almost a long bomb quick stick setup here. Let's see if they can do it.
Well, no one's on the American right on the logo. If they get it to him quick, he's going to have a shot here. Damali won't take it, though. They're going to try and get multiple passes in here, which clearly was not going to work with only 4 seconds left on the clock. So they passed up on their shot opportunity anyways. Doesn't matter because they're up by 4 at recess. It's 6-2 USA. We're back to our halftime content. Ryan Flaherty is going to take you through it when we're back after the break from the SaskTel Center.
Welcome back inside SaskTel Center in Saskatoon. First semifinal is halfway done, and USA leads Israel 6-2. A lot closer game at half than it was last time these two teams met. So I'm here with Israel General Manager Zach Egan. First of all, just your thoughts on the way that your team has played here through 30 minutes.
I love the fact that our boys are playing with heart. I think they're doing a really great job, and we're looking forward to the second half.
All right, Zach, so we wanted to talk a little bit more about what goes into Israel Lacrosse coming together for an event like this, and also what you're looking ahead to. So let's start off with this event here. Just overall, first of all, what's it been like here for your group this week?
It's been great. We have all the boys in a big house together. This team has bonded a lot quicker than other programs or other teams we've been a part of before, so we're really, really impressed with the group. I just wanted to say that we're really happy with the team. We showed up for a couple days of training camp and then rolled right into this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, for folks who don't maybe know how this team comes together, maybe give us a little bit of insight into how you're able to put together a roster for something like this.
Sure thing. So we have a really great network that we reach out to, and we're able to find these players and reach out to them and bring them here.
And you have some players perhaps in this junior event who may be playing for the senior men's team next year, potentially at World Championships. Tell me a little bit more about the process now looking forward, as you've got a big evaluation coming up in September at a big event there, and of course looking ahead to next year's Worlds.
Totally. So events like this are great because it gives us opportunities to give more looks to more guys. There's a couple guys here that may get an invite after this week to our men's training camp in Utica, New York during Lax Night at the end of September.
Yeah. Tell me a bit more about that event. What's going to happen there?
So Lax and I, we're going to run a men's camp simultaneous to the festival itself. We're going to play a couple of games and we'll evaluate our men's players in a similar fashion. And then at the end of the weekend, we'll slim a roster down for the next training camp.
And this is the third time for Israel here at the IIJL World Junior Championship. What's the evolution been like here from 2019 to now here in 2023?
I think the theme of that evolution is chemistry. Each year that we come back to this event, the team feels stronger and more connected.
And what do games like this? I mean, you're in a semifinal with USA. I know this is a matchup you guys wanted, not just in the round robin, but you wanted to see them again after the way things went the first time around. But what does that do for Israel Lacrosse to play against the USAs and the Canadas and other nations like that?
I think it gives us an opportunity to showcase our program and show the rest of the lacrosse community that we're here, we're ready to play those programs.
And there's some relationships between some players on these teams. Maybe tell me a little bit about that as well.
Yeah, we have a couple of alumni playing on the USA program, so we're happy to get to play against them, even if it's in a different uniform.
Is that a little bit awkward for maybe some of the guys to try to switch off the friend mode into opponent mode, or how does that go?
You know, I think the program does a great job of it. There's a family feel to it. That's something we preach.
Well, it's certainly, I get a sense of that from watching your group here this week. It's been really fun to have you here, and thanks a lot for doing this, Zach.
Thank you so much.
All right, that is Israel General Manager Zach Egan. His team down by 4 here at half against US, but still 30 minutes of great lacrosse to come in this first semifinal. Coming up after the break, we'll have highlights from that first half here in SaskTel Center. You're watching the 2023 IIJL World Junior Lacrosse Championship.
The Canadian Lacrosse League is proud to work with Support Our Troops to help Canadian military members, veterans, and their families overcome extraordinary challenges as a result of military service. Visit supportourtroops.ca for more information. At the half in Saskatoon, it's Cody Jansen, Stephen Stamp, Ryan Flaherty with you. USA jumps out to a 6-2 lead. It felt like a lot more than that, but Israel happy to only be down by 4.
I think so. That's what I was thinking to myself was if I was in that Israeli room coaching, I would be saying, guys, we're lucky to be at 6-2. We couldn't have been outplayed by much more. They really didn't play well. U.S. looked so much better. Shots are 24-9. Let's just go out, wipe that one out, and go out and play better. And you're going to see mostly U.S. highlights. Here's the speed from Kessler and T.J. Carl getting his first goal of the tournament. And the U.S. just keeps it coming. Karawan bashing one home. And it was really all U.S. to this point. As DeGrasse gets one. A lovely control of the body as he goes back against the grain. And the U.S. just keeps putting the pressure on Colsey. Another backdoor quick stick. He has scored 14 goals in the tournament. They keep coming. Pechota has nothing but time to think about this one. And it's starting to look like a nice little apology to the ref there. But finally, Fodchuk gets the monkey off his back. And then the lovely goal by Tompkins diving across gives Israel a little bit of hope. I think if you're Israel again, you've got to feel like we are in about the best spot we could be given the way that half went.
And talking before, the guys said on Israel, hey, we're at our best when we're having fun. They weren't having a lot of fun that opening half. We'll see if they can turn the tide. Last night, completely different story, though, as we had Poland and Scotland here in SaskTel Center in Scotland. Well, they punched their ticket.
And Scotland has been the streakiest team in this tournament. For the second time in 3 games yesterday, they had 2 5-goal runs for and a 5-goal run against. Look at that play by Preston Stewart, who was the best player on the floor all night. He was spectacular, and he and Sika really enjoying themselves out there. Speaking of having fun, there's the big Bam Bamford going in, just pounding balls in and having a good time. Maybe a little too much fun later as he took some penalties for overzealously celebrating. But Scotland just gets it rolling. There's Nolan Eastwood, who has been dynamite for Scotland, and you can see the absolute bomb that he puts in. And Grady Holmes, their player of the game, using his big body and his skill combination to fight through and score that lovely goal. And look at, speaking of body control, we talked earlier, that is spectacular right there on that break. So a big win for Scotland. Poland is very disappointed. They felt like they had the chance to go and win that game. Now they're going to focus on Australia in the 5-6 game. Scotland will have to try to slay the giant tonight.
That's at 8 o'clock, Scotland versus Canada. Well, we'll get ready for quarter number 3 here. We're back after the half with more action from the SaskTel Center. The Canadian University Field Lacrosse Association and Maritime University Field Lacrosse League are proud education and career development partners of the CLL. Visit cufla.ca and mufll.ca for recruitment opportunities to play university lacrosse in Canada. Third quarter time in SaskTel Center. It's Cody Jansen, Stephen Stamp, Ryan Flaherty with you. USA in their dark blues, Israel in white. Hot off the draw, an opportunity after a Giesman face-off win. Pechota's down there as well. He's pushed back by Reedy. Forney's in there battling, and it'll be Bundy that'll come out of the pile with the ball. Over to Ashton Reach, the Israel captain. Talking to him before the game, he said, hey, we know all the pressure's on USA. We're going out here to have fun and ball out and hopefully pull off the upset of the tournament. Well, they're down by 4, and they've got 30 minutes to do so. Josh Fodchuk off the left arm of Jackson Curtis. Curtis made 7 saves in the opening half. Tompkins now. 1 of 2 Israel goals, trying to go short side, misses, and Fodchuk misses the loose ball, trying to poke in there with the stick. Back the other way, it's Kessler with Pachota. Pachota for his second, and he's got it. Another low one for Jason Pachota, and it's 7-2 USA.
Similar style of shot, very different way that this arises as the U.S. comes down 2-on-1, and nice patience to make the pass across, and Pachota just keeping his body open so he's looking like he might be going back to Kessler, and then just finds his spot, bounces it home, and this is where it feels like Israel needs to get something going. Haverly, maybe, we talked about the guy to add a strike, change something.
Violations called on Giesman, so Haverly will get credited with the win. Bundy up the floor. They'll try run around Newman, kicks it back for Tompkins. Jackson Baker's through the middle. Hockenstein, Easton Burns, very quiet in that opening half. Burns with the pill now. Baker trying to open up space, and a high to low scores. Easton Burns is making his mark now. It's 7-3.
That's a big one for Israel coming from Burns, especially because Steen, you mentioned Steen's been quiet, but at least he's been involved. You could have believed Burns wasn't even playing in this game yet, 'cause I think that's the first time we've said his name. And he had 4 goals yesterday. He is a terrific shooter, was a big contributor last year for Israel, and this year he is one of their key guys. And just to get that rip and their 3rd goal in 11 shots is a big deal for Israel.
Haverly off the face-off, and that's not what you need, is a penalty on your face-off, guys. He got his cross-check up high. We said he liked the physical play. Well, you got to do it with your shoulder and not your stick. Sanes, 6-on-5 for the Americans. Back down to a 4-goal lead for them. Sanes on the roll. Hard pick by Vandenberg goes uncalled. He got the kick back, trying to go 5-hole. Ripberger with the save. Rebound, he'll swarm it as well. And Israel going to be shorthanded now.
And the thing we've mentioned a few times, that, in the summer, things aren't called quite the same way. But you've got to know, this is your 4th game in this tournament. You've got to understand that's going to be called every time. And even in the summer, you get up right into the helmet. It's probably a penalty. But there's no question. If you're not careful here, you're going to get it. So you really do have to think that kind of thing through. It's tough, though, when you're just trying to be lively, trying to be energetic.
Cooper DeBalli's up top on the power play. Strube and Colsey are on his right. Sanes down for Watts. Sanes zips it across. Strube, a low to low, bounces it on goal, and Ripberger drops on it. Jarrett Rogalski had a goal and 4 assists yesterday for Israel. Fodchuk. 15 on the shot clock. Fodchuk all the way up for Hockenstein. See if they try to draw something up. Steen cuts into a triple team. Now he's pushed back, 2 to shoot, and he'll just dump this one into the netting above the glass wisely.
Almost got it above the netting. That's a pretty high lob.
Well, I think he wanted to stay in because the longer that the refs don't throw out a new ball, the more time you have to change.
Yes.
Colsey's in the corner. Strube is going to be in that lefty shooter spot. A little bit of a power play change here from Oliver Marty's side. Cooper DeMolly stepped down. Ripberger makes the save, and again had to take a quick look behind him.
Actually had a bit of a board incident yesterday after the Scotland-Poland game with a whole bunch of Scotland players. The whole team ran and did a board jump over towards their fans and actually knocked one of the panes of glass right out of its moorings and into the stands.
Comical. That's all over social media today as well.
There you go.
Here's Easton Burns now, bouncer, far side, and Kush got knocked down, and that'll essentially negate the rest of the Israel power play as USA will give the ball right back.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that hit. It's just that the player hadn't quite caught the ball yet. That's a big hit.
Hockenstein back up top. Trying to swim move, got knocked free. As I believe that was Kessler who got his stick up. Back the other way, it's Sanes. Partial break, good change by Justice Cutler to get off there and cut out the angle.
Beautiful outlet pass by Pechota.
Watts for Carawat. Back down to Senez. That got tipped by Cutler dangerously into the corner. Carawat has reached on him. Finds it up. Vandenberg, low rip, and it's going to be the goaltender and Mark Ripberger to sit on it.
Boy, and Israel needs to play 30 seconds of defense, not 27, because they just left Vandenberg when it looked like the shot clock was expiring.
Jackson Baker. Israel running 6 forwards in this game. The Americans seem like they're running 10 at times. Burns, wrong side of the road. Pushed in by Kessler. Penalties upcoming. Tompkins has to be careful. He doesn't even this up here, but it'll be Kessler going off for the slash.
So Israel with a chance. You've got Burns has found one. Here comes the call. Kessler actually kind of spun his stick as it got out of his hands there.
USA penalty number 51, Ethan Kessler, 2 minutes for slashing.
Jackson Baker's up top on this power play. Vodchuk and Burns are on the right. We'll see if they try hit Burns for a quick stick. They had a lot of success with that in the Hawkins-Steen seam pass. This time Baker cuts to the middle. Burns on the rebound. Took too long to shoot, and Pechota pinched him off.
Illegal pick called on Pechota after he made the pass. He just kind of got in the way and
he was like holding
Burns
on to Burns' stick there. I thought we might be seeing a call for holding
Yeah.
the stick. But they'll just give possession to Israel. Power play gets to hit the reset button. 20 on the shot clock. Vodchuk Baker will play pass. Steen's on the left. Baker shoots and scores. Caught Curtis guessing, and it's now a 3-goal game.
It's interesting, Stu Sturparn was telling us before the game they thought maybe one chance they had was to get to Curtis. He said he just doesn't know enough about him yet to know how good he is. But obviously they're not saying he's not a good goalie. They're just saying, let's see if we can get after him. And they have 4 goals now on 13 shots, and they have been picking some spots. That's a great shot there by Baker. So,
Well, Curtis hasn't been tested all tournament. He's faced 61 shots in 2 games. That's not a lot in the lacrosse world, not even a lot in the hockey world either. So
that'd be a large number for one game, but not exorbitant.
yeah, the numbers we've been seeing in this tournament, that's average at best. DeGrasse inside move down for Vandenberg, hit into the crease. Save made by Ripberger. Rogalski has the loose ball. Jarrett Rogalski will go for a run. They reset the shot clock midway through, so I think the ref's counting it down. Tompkins has it now. Israel looking to get on a roll. Hawkins-Steen for Burns. Solar Camille sets the seal. Baker now, little flip down. Jackson Baker's got space. Short side, scores! Oh, the little far side fake got Curtis to bite again. Pulls it short side high. Jackson Baker back-to-back bingos, and it's 7-5.
And that goal earlier by Burns seemed to really pump up Israel and Baker. A pair of shots, both of them lovely. This is a great fake to the far side. Baker we know can shoot, but they just look so much more confident, so much more comfortable, like they can play with the U.S.
Pechota on the logo. Let's go down to the floor. Ryan Flaherty quickly with an injury update.
Yeah, Jonas Kusch, who took that hit a couple of minutes ago, was laying down on his back behind the bench, getting his neck worked on for the last couple of minutes, but he has now gone down the tunnel with the trainer
scores
as the American
over the
score.
shoulder of Ripberger. Jackson Carawan rips one high, and the USA response.
Big response for the U.S. as things were closing up. It was within 2 goals, so this is huge for them to get it turned around. And this is a pretty simple play where Carawan just creates his space by putting his shoulder into his defender, just backs him off. That's a very smart play and hard to defend when he gets that space opened up. Looks like there's a bit of a conversation between Oliver Marty.
On the bench, and John Kilbride's passing along a message as well. Pechota has Reedy on him here. USA back to response. Long bomb down for Reedy. They threw a pass into a 1-on-4, and there was no hope for him. And if you see the scoreboard, it's actually 8-5 USA over Israel. They've got it wrong in the in-house. Caraway down for Colsey. Back over to DeGrasse, to the middle. Carl kicks it back, shot on goal. Ripberger makes the save.
And controls the rebound. Obviously important because the U.S. is crashing the crease, looking for loose balls on the rebound and getting pretty good position to go after them if they're there.
Well, Israel down by 3, but you can see the bench is a little bit more up and lively. Fodchuk on the roll, caught the top of Curtis's shoulder as it bounces back. To the middle, Eggbrotten airmails one. It's over the head of Brent Newman. He can't catch it. Rogalski will, though.
I thought Rogalski was going to throw that pass. I almost said no. You just can't throw that. You've just gotten the ball back, throw back into 4 blue jerseys.
Fodchuk, pass got knocked down, got it back though. Little behind the back pass, hit Burns in the slot. It hit him in the stick and it goes out of play.
That's not bad. That's a good pass. I mean, that's lovely. Just an inch over Burns being able to catch it.
Vandenberg up top for Senes. Back for Watts. Senes back door. Vandenberg was there as Reedy trying to defend up. Got around on his backhand though. Put it on goal and he scores. Defender on him like a backpack. Doesn't matter. Spencer Vandenberg rips one home and it's 9-5.
Great drive by Vandenberg, who comes into the game as one of the contenders for the Cy Young. 5 goals, no assists coming in, and that is a lovely play. You can see the help coming. A little bit late in both cases, not the best angles by Israel, but they're there. That's not a huge defensive breakdown like they were facing before.
It's not a defensive breakdown, but it's the saves you need made in a semifinal game. Now the lead's back up to 4 for the Americans. 9-5 with 6:27 to go. Keesmith back off the draw, wins it, and he's got the one-arm flip down as well. Bundy right off the face-off, he stepped up as well, and that almost gave DeGrasse a 2-on-1 where the pass beat Bundy and Haverly. Israel's gonna respond and reset back to the D formation. On the roll in the corner, Colsey wanted it. Back on the ground as Bundy has it knocked free as well. Colsey talks his reach down. No loose ball push call. Now Ripberger pulls it back into the crease and outlets for Rogalski. Rogalski over to Steen. Up top for Fodchuk. Fodchuk's on the roll. Goes off the end of Curtis's stick and out of play. Fresh 30 clock now. Hawkins Steen. As Tompkins open up space in the middle, he'll float one on, and it's caught in the left arm of Curtis.
There's a lot of time left on the shot clock there, and not a really high-quality shot. Israel's got to take their time, work it inside. They're getting good chances. Don't push it at this point. You don't have to rush.
Senes dumps it down for Caraway. Doesn't on the shot clock. Caraway gets pushed back by Haverly, who's playing some defense here. Now he got to the middle. Ripberger with the right hand punches it out like a hockey blocker. Little behind the back pass got thrown. Haverly's going to get it, and he can have a breakaway if he turns on the Jets. Justin Haverly now. Back check is Colsey. Got the shot off, and it's off the post.
Pretty nice job by Haverly protecting the ball there. I thought he was actually trying to lure Colsey in because he had a teammate with him. I'm not sure he even realized there was somebody running along beside him.
He was gassed at the end of a shift there, though.
Yeah.
So close to making it a 3-goal game. USA still leads by 4. Hawkins Steen. Up top for Baker. Jackson Baker now stepped down off the arm of Curtis. Pachota in motion. Behind the back, they score. USA has got 10, and that's as pretty as they come as Riley Strube with the BTB Berries.
Yeah, cue that one up for the highlight reel, because Pachota with the lovely decision, a really nice touch pass right where Strube wants it. and he so smoothly glides into that behind the back, perfectly placed. Israel had gotten close, and now it really feels like the U.S. is feeling like they've got control of the game again.
Yeah, wind out of the sails. That's for sure what it looks like when you take a look at the Israel bench here. And USA back to rolling. Tate Watts on the co-op field logo. Senes. Down for Colsey. Damali sets the pick. Senes runs inside. Bouncer ends up hitting his teammate Watts behind the net. And they'll give Israel possession. Ben Rady, we've seen him play offense for a lot of this tournament. Now he's coming out the back gate here in the semifinals, and the forwards for Israel have to find another gear. Fodchuk whips this one back for Tompkins. Off his stick again. They've been close on a couple of those quick sticks. The one-timer just not working. Hawkins Steen. Pass goes off a defender, 3 to shoot. Solar Camille can't catch up to it, and Steen's just going to rip this one into row 16.
That one cleared the fence, got up.
They're calling for a delay of game.
Wow.
That sounded like that was before the buzzer. It was definitely out of his stick before the buzzer went off.
Yeah, it definitely was. And they didn't call the play earlier when it was thrown up into the mesh. I'm not sure what the difference is. I mean, I've seen that called before for throwing it out up into the mesh, but I mean, what difference does it make? You can see a full second. You can see 1 second on the clock when he throws it. Just because it goes over the mesh, I don't see why it makes a difference.
2 minutes for delayed game.
Over the mesh is why they're calling it, I guess. I have never seen that called before in international or other rules. Nonetheless, Israel shorthanded, USA to the power play. 1 for 5 in the game so far. Colsey's up top. Little fake. Now it's over to Senes. Colsey trying to go glove side this time on Ripberger. He got it moving to his left. Ryan, you can just crack your mic and chime in there on the next one. If something like that, just Easton Burns. Israel shorthanded. Fodchuk on the logo. Over to Tompkins. Baker opens up some space. Jackson Baker for the hat trick. Curtis says no. Ball's on the ground, poked free by Burns, and USA will recover. Jackson Baker's probably been Israel's best forward in this game.
Very dangerous. Boy, the U.S. is doing a great job on the clear, just getting the outlet passes, making them so simple, so precise, always having somebody available.
Strube has the latest. Senes. Colsey. Back over to Strube. Low to low, and he scores. Smack of the net. It's 11-5 USA.
Strube through traffic, just gets that head of the stick basically grazing along the turf after having to really reach up just to make that catch. And you can see the traffic that's coming through. Not sure how much of a look Ripberger had on that goal.
Number 3, Ryan Colsey, and number 39, Nate Senes.
11 goals on 36 shots for USA in this one. They're now up by more than double. Josh Fodchuk will run it down. Fodchuk trying to go far side off the dasher board and out. They're trying the outside looks, and where they've had success is getting inside. I think it's got to be more of a left-right express offense and less of the outside shot looks. Colsey gets some help from Furmander. Cutler has to get his stick out on him. Furmander spins inside and just leaves it in the corner with 6 seconds left on the shot clock. Not sure if he thought the 7 was a 1 as Bundy got tripped up. Call coming against Colsey as the Americans will touch up in front of the Israel bench.
And Ryan was talking about how Haverly is a really vocal participant in the game. He's got to be careful here. He actually touches Colsey from the bench after the play as the whistle was being blown, and you got to be careful with that. You can't engage from the bench.
You can get away with that in some leagues that just are not played at this level.
Yes. At this level, you should probably be a little more cautious.
Baker's up top of the power play. Hockenstein over to Burns for the quick stick, and again, just unable to clip it. Fodchuk behind the net. Tompkins is waiting there. Still have 10 on the shot clock. Baker, pass came up high, and that was knocked back. Baker's going to go off for a change, and the USA's got a 2-on-0 inside. Ripberger makes a save on Boney.
I like that change because you can gain the length of the bench, but somebody's got to be ready. Nobody was going out when he got there.
D-Gate was not ready for it. Now USA has it. They got 23 on the shot clock. There's 32 left to go in the quarter. Up by 6. You know they'd love to tack one more on. Tate Watts probably wants to drive low on this play here, if given the opportunity. He'll end up behind the net, thinking about a dunk attempt, and lands right in the crease, but Ripberger got his right arm on it. 10 to go. Ripberger's not even going to go to the bench as they've got the power play, but Fodchuk now. 3 to go in the quarter. Fodchuk short side. Curtis not tasked with making a save, and USA explodes. 5 goals to respond to Israel's 3 in that third quarter. They lead by 6 as we head into the final frame from Saskatoon. Signature Lacrosse is the official ball provider of the 2023 IIJL World Junior Lacrosse Championship. Visit signaturelacrosse.com. Ryan Flaherty standing by with Stu Sturparn.
Yeah, Stu, you got to within 3 there, but push there late in the quarter by USA. Now with the 6-goal lead, what do you have to do here in the final 15 to get back in it?
Yeah, just chip away. I mean, 1 goal at a time. You can't score more than 1. There's only 1-point goals in this game. We'd love to shoot a 3-pointer, but right now it's 1 at a time. So we're going to keep chipping away and hope we can put 1 in here.
What did you like about that third quarter that you can hopefully take into the fourth now?
Again, the boys are playing with more composure nowadays. They're starting to figure out box lacrosse and how much patience is needed, and they're really starting to control the ball, which is much more important for us. So.
All right, thanks for this. Good luck in the fourth.
Appreciate it, Ryan. Thank you.
Guys?
Adrenaline Lacrosse is an official supplier of the Canadian Lacrosse League. Visit adrln.ca for more. Cody Jansen, Steven Stamp, Ryan Flaherty with you from the SaskTel Center in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. What does Israel have to do to get back in this game?
Well, they've started to do some of it. They've played with more composure. They were outshot 14-11 in that quarter, which is much closer after having been outshot 24-9 in the first half. They really need Ripberger to lock things down. He's given up a couple of goals that I think he'd like to have back, they'd like to have back, and they've got to get that goaltending, and I think just push the pace with control like we talked about before the game and get some chances and take advantage.
Well, they scored 3 goals on 11 shots in that third quarter. They're going to need an even bigger fourth quarter here, but they're shorthanded, and the penalty kill gets the focus first for the Americans. Furmander. Colsey's in the corner. No pressure on him at all. I'm surprised from Israel. They're not going to throw out a bit of a double team here. Just try cause a turnover. You don't have all day. Left in the corner and behind the net. Bundy has it. 5 seconds left to go on the power play before Colsey gets out of the sin bin. Hockenstein A lot of real estate in the middle. No one was able to cut through as Forney boxed out well. Ball's going to bounce through. Steen can't pick it up off the turf as Colsey has it. It'll run up from its D zone, hits the brakes, and now he'll wait for some forwards to get out with him.
Israel's got a couple of forwards back on defense. And just getting the 5th defender out there now.
Solar Camille to defend. Tate Watts. It's Colsey. Outside look. Ripberger makes a save, and the rebound was free game for a second, and Hawkinstein will go for a jump. You wonder if Israel starts to leave one forward out on the floor, just knowing they need 6. And if you can go in transition, maybe that's their best bet of the game. Fodcha rips one off Pachota. Ball on the ground. Hawkinstein tries to throw the body, and it's a break. Back the other way. Ripberger will shut the wickets on Egbrun.
It's so risky, though, to leave that player up and just leave the space for guys like Colsey and Watts. And
you got to take risks down by 6.
yeah.
If there's a time to do it, it's now. I don't think the first quarter is appropriate for that, but when you only have 5 3/4, something's got to give. Another shot goes wide, and it'll be another breakaway opportunity for the States if Brett Newman could catch up to it in time. He ends up in the corner, though, and Dick Turrell will shove him into the boards. USA has Tate Watts, and you'll see them play very high here. I can't imagine they get 5 caught too deep in this 4th corner. Karawan waits for some help. Stroob set the pick. Senes inside, and he scores right over the shoulder of Ripberger. Senes gives the Americans a dozen.
What a touch shot by Nate Senes. He is going to be very patient. You can see the fakes that he throws after getting this nice touch pass from Karawan. And there's virtually nothing on that shot. He doesn't need to shoot it hard. He needs to just let it drop in over Ripberger. And he places it perfectly. That's a headsy play. And it'll wave to the crowd for Nate Senes.
Face-off violation got called as Giesman and Haverlick continue their battle. It's been going on all game. Forney jumps in, and Carson Forney will have the loose ball in the middle. USA up by 7, 12 to go here in Saskatoon. Berth in the finals on the line. USA looking to play in the game at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Little inside drive. Ripberger is going to make the save on Carl as Tate Watts got tossed to the ground by Reedy.
Reedy following through, finishing the big hit.
Hawkinstein. Israel just getting their 5th forward on the floor as Fodcha defended there by Kessler. Steen backpedal. Call is coming. Little flip for Tompkins. He'll just have a couple seconds on the shot clock here. Got a bouncer on net. Curtis makes the save, and Israel's going to the power play.
Illegal cross-check will be the call. Israel hoping they can take advantage here. Bear in mind the U.S. does have a shorthanded goal in this game already, and they had a pair in the earlier game between the teams. So Israel, but like you mentioned, you've got to take risks. You can't be too worried about giving up those chances. You got to be pushing here. Just don't let the high guy get caught too low.
Israel 50% on the power play in this game. Tompkins behind the net. Burns. Steen. Put it on goal, and Curtis got it right in the pants. Easy save for the American netminder, and now they'll look to kill some clock. Floater up for Boney. Little one-arm move around Bundy to the net, and now he cut to the crease and wisely doesn't grab it as help comes in the form of Nate Senes.
Started to go after that ball, and really smart to just get away from it so you can maintain possession. That's about 15 seconds difference for the U.S. that they can kill.
Karawan low to low. Ripberger makes the save, and he scoops up the loose ball before it crosses the goal line.
Very casually scoops it up. It was going wide, it looks like, but he did not seem perturbed in the least. I think I might have been if that was rolling towards my net like that.
Tompkins Israel still has a minute left to go on this power play. Does it on the shot clock, though. Tompkins is going behind the net. That makes Curtis be cognizant of a dunk attempt. That's what he has. He's trying to go short side, and you can see Curtis was ready for it. If you want the dunk attempt from behind, it can't be predictable, and I think that's where Eric Tompkins got caught, is everyone in the building knew what he wanted to try.
And he went exactly where he was looking. He did have some space because Curtis was right up against that left post. He was just going to have to go to the other side. Switch it up in the air if you need to.
Kara one arms it in the corner, and that's going to leave Israel with 12 seconds left on their power play.
And even when they get back to even strength, that might not be the last time we see the U.S. roll it in the corner.
9:25 to go in regulation. Israel down by 7. Baker for Burns. Burns now, short side, scores. Down by 6 now as Easton Burns has his second of the game.
Beautiful shot, really nice rip by Easton Burns. Just a lot of space for him. He comes around, there's a seal. Very nice pick set there. But Burns really does a lot of that on his own. Just takes advantage of the room he's got. Lasers one in perfectly to the far corner.
Burns now 7 goals this week for Israel. That was only their second shot of the quarter. We've almost played 6 minutes of it. Israel bench not happy. They've got a man down and they just blew it in. Not sure if they didn't realize Reish got cracked in the back of the head. Refs just let that one go. We'll see if we can get another look on a replay here off the face-off. Israel bench obviously concerned for their captain as here you get another look at it, and the slash just came down on the top of his head by DeGrasse. I think he threw his head back and his hands up like he thought he was getting a penalty. Yeah. And the refs just said, clean, keep playing.
I mean, it happens so quickly. There's so many guys in there, but on the replay, it's so obvious that that stick just came right down
just a
on
little
his
bit.
head. Yeah. And the U.S. is going to have their defense head out. Israel will have possession.
You can see Stu Sturparn wants an explanation. He's saying, hey, there's 3 of you out there. No one saw that?
Well, I think to stay fairly calm, but
at this tournament he does. I've seen Stewie fired up and just a great guy, a great coach, and he's as passionate as they come for the game of lacrosse. Good defensive play there by Brett Newman. The Connecticut kid up the floor. Boney in a 3-on-1. Twister trying to go 5-hole as Newman got the rebound, and he almost got that back out in front for a second opportunity. Justice Cutler the other way. He's got Fodchuk at the back door. Josh Fodchuk now trying to pull this one stick side high. Curtis makes the save. Fodchuk blew it tire, and now Cutler grabs the loose ball.
He tosses the pass with the stick, just chucks everything over. Like the play by Cutler to be so aware of Baker coming off the bench. Fodchuk. Baker.
Tompkins over to Burns. Burns tries to spin it up. Down 6 with 8 minutes to go. Not out of it yet as Hawkins Steen ripped this one low, and it's going to bounce into the benches.
Oh, you got to cover him.
Tate Watts, little crease dive. Ran into Wiley.
Wiley was just looking up the floor and letting Watts have all the room he needed. And that you could see coming a mile away. They're lucky.
Baker's off the bench. One arm on his stick. Couldn't cleanly catch that pass, though, as Boney was out there as well. They're going to call it back in. And Israel, again, only down by 6. They do have time, but A, you can't allow any more goals, and B, the offense has to figure it out quick. Weatherby now. Finds Steen. Zips one to Fodchuk. He's on the roll. Got Curtis going the wrong way, except he hit him in the right shoulder. Loose ball, it's on the ground. Free game. Weatherby wins the war. Now he got taken down. It's on the ground, and USA is actually going to come out of the pile with it. Run up by 40. Teammates say, hey, slow it down. You could hear Oliver Marty yelling from up here.
And Vandenberg on the far side was actually in a pretty good position to get a pass, and he was just saying no, 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 putting his hands up saying don't give me the ball, take the time off the clock.
Strube for Senes. Outside look here. Vandenberg dumps it down in the corner, and they'll head off for a change and wisely get the defenders out there. Benjamin Rady up the floor. They don't really have time to sit back and use the full 30 clock here. Tompkins and Steen. Tompkins kind of just left alone. Over to Fodchuk. Hard pick set by Steen. Twister on goal. Curtis makes a good save there as it hit him in the right foot. Solar Camille. Back to Burns. Burns finds Steen. Steen now rolls out. Curtis with the save. Rebound by Burns. Couldn't get it on net. Couple of good saves now by Jackson Curtis, who's locked in.
As we hit 6 minutes, that's basically 6 possessions each, which means Israel has to get it. We're going to have, is that a timeout for the U.S.? Yes.
Timeout USA.
Oliver Marty wants to have a word with his squad. Ryan, do you have any reasoning for this?
This is just one of those reminders for a timeout for the team. He's really encouraging them here to use that clock. Of course, it is to their advantage right now. Want to make sure they are making the most of every possession, not necessarily scoring any more goals, just taking all that time away from Israel here. So right now, just a reminder to everyone of their assignments and to stay the course here with just a few minutes left in this semifinal. And as for Israel, it's a very quiet huddle right now. Stu Sturparn has everybody's attention, trying to get everyone back on the same page.
Let's get a look at Riley Strube now, who's had himself a game. Little walk to the middle, a low to low, ends up beating Rittberger there in transition, and he's got the BTB as well. Those were back-to-back goals in the third quarter. Riley Strube, the Salisbury product. Beautiful goal right there as well on the behind the back. It's not as easy as he made it look. In full stride, able to cut it around the defender and throw a BTB low on Rittberger. That's why USA's got the big lead they do, up by 6 with 5:56 to play here in quarter number 4. Ryan Colsey will get the rock up top with 21 seconds on the shot clock. Oliver Marty down bench side almost, able to talk to his team. Backdoor feed, Colsey was there, and they tried to go quick. They opted not to use the entire shot clock and try catch Israel off guard. Colsey on the quick stick, denied by Mark Rittberger. Now it's Eric Tompkins. Hawkins Steen's up top for Baker. Jackson Baker now rips one and scores. It's the hat trick marker. Puts it just inside the near post. It's 12-7.
Baker's been the most dangerous Israel player on the floor all night, and he's going to absolutely blast that one in.
Israel goal scored by number 9.
Short side on Jackson Curtis. Baker now 3 in the game, 8 in the tournament. Haverly, a big face-off win for Reach. Reedy now up the floor. He'll flip this one back, and Israel, instead of getting their 5th forward out there, they're playing with 4. Slashing call coming. I believe it'll be on DeGrasse, who, instead of going for the ball, tried to hack his opponent, and the ref was right there. Between the benches, Ryan Flaherty.
Well, just something to keep an eye on here in the late stages is watch for Ashton Reach to play more up front. He is a bit of a Swiss Army knife on this team, and when they need him at crunch time, they'll throw him forward, and so we'll maybe see him a few more shifts on offense here in the final moments.
Jackson Baker's up top on this power play. Steen's on his left, Fodchuk's on his right in the shooter spots. Baker, hot stick. Curtis makes a save. It's behind him, but Fodchuk couldn't get to the crease for the loose ball. Now on that play, Steen goes towards the goaltender instead of finding a body back there, and that allows Curtis to make an easy outlet to Kenny Boney.
I think Israel's been watching Scotland with that high scissor pick to open up the shooting lane. Worked like a charm.
Colsey 4 on the shot clock. Dumps this one. I'm not sure if that was an intended shot or not, but Cutler got his stick in the way. Didn't go over the netting, though, so it's not delay of game.
Right? It's fine.
Rogalski up for Steen. Israel down by 5. 4 to play. Baker to Steen. Zips one over to Burns. I'm not sure he saw it coming for him, though. Now Steen got a cross-check in on his defender, who dropped down to the ground. I'm not sure if Steen intended for it to miss the padding or not, but that dropped his defender awfully quick, and Oliver Marty wants a call as he was heading out onto the floor. Here you get a look at it top. It's Pachota. Well, he got him kind of in the kidney guards there, but obviously if you're not suspecting it, it'll shock you a little bit.
Pachota went down pretty quickly, as you said. He's been outstanding for the U.S. throughout the tournament. Today may be his best game, as he's added a couple of goals. And I love the way he's been clearing the ball out of their zone. This is a chance for Israel to get a bit of rest as well, because it is late in the game, and they got to the 6-minute mark needing 6 goals. They got one in the first minute. They didn't in the second of those 6 minutes. And we take a look here at Jackson Baker's game. That is a beautiful fake to get that one. And then in the Yakney corner, as we called it last year, because Josh Yakney was hitting that with regularity. And then this one is another rip down low. We might have to call it the Baker corner. Moving forward, he needs a couple more to earn a named corner.
Well, he scored the last one from the middle. But again, Israel power play will continue here. 43 seconds left on the man advantage. Baker's still up top. Steen and Fonchuk are on the flanks. Baker to the middle, low to low. This is going to miss, and it's going to be a breakaway back the other way for the Americans if they want. And Carson Agbrotten says, I'll just take it to the corner and kill off some clock.
It's a pretty good idea. I'm not sure I've ever seen anybody peel out before they even had the ball on a breakaway before.
He knew exactly what he wanted to do.
Absolutely. I don't hate the play. It's just, it's funny that he turned off before he even picked it up.
Sanez up top. Vandenberg defended by Rogalski. Now it's Kerwan. 1-on-1 with Kush. Backhand shot goes in. Ryan Colsey. There's one player in the tournament making that play, and he's wearing 3 in blue. It's 13-7 for the Americans.
Technically a shorthanded goal, and that is just spectacular. Late in the 30, you can see there's just 2 seconds on the shot clock. He was about the only guy inside the restraining line for the U.S. Everyone else had just left to go get the change and get back on defense. And that's a crushing goal.
1 second after the penalty had expired. Not technically.
Was it a second after?
Yeah.
Okay.
1 second after. Again, they had 4 on the floor. I get it. Forney. He'll find Boney.
Assist to number 11, Jackson Kerwan.
USA has seemingly punched their ticket to the final, where they expect a date with Canada tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Obviously, we got the other semifinal tonight as the heavy underdog Scotland look to pull off the unthinkable against the Canadians. Stroob's on the roll for the hat trick. It's off the post, and it stays out.
Scooped up by Reedy, and they'll move it ahead quickly, but they've really got to crank up the sense of urgency here.
Tompkins. Little back pedal. Hawkins Steen's the 5th forward. They're just going to keep Rip Berger in the net, down by 6 with 2:20. I think they know their fate, and it's a bronze medal game tomorrow at 5. Little behind the back flip by Fonchuk. Burns got taken down, and they'll scoop it into the crease where Jackson Curtis is standing. Josiah DeGrasse goes for a jock. Started the game coming out the O-gate. Now he's playing a little bit of defense as well. The Americans have some great athletes on their roster that can certainly do that and give teams fits when you can play a two-way game. Kerwat to the middle, trying to go short side high. Ripberger got his left arm in the way.
I don't hate the idea of a Israel-Scotland matchup if that's what happens for the bronze. That was a heck of a game. Game of runs, very exciting.
Steen for Solar Camille. Israel very selective with their shots in this game. Only 28. Fodchuk's on the roll. It's off the crossbar. He's now hit every post in the building multiple times. Forney kicks this one back. Out for Carouan. As Furmander up the floor as we're into the final minute to semifinal number 1. Carouan down to Furmander. He'll drive out in front. Feifel on Rittberger, and he scores. First of the game for Marco Furmander, and it's 14-7.
Furmander just fights underneath, and a little reminiscent of early in the game when Israel was having all kinds of trouble keeping the U.S. forwards from getting underneath them baseline and getting in on the net. At this point, it's not going to make too much of a difference, obviously, as the U.S. doubles them up 14-7, and that one's a little different because you are pushing it. You've got to go and try and get the ball and maybe take some chances. But, it's going to be a U.S. victory here. And very interesting to see. They felt coming in like they could get something much higher than the bronze medal. And they're not satisfied that this is going to clinch them a silver. They want to go out and they want Canada in the final, I'm sure.
Picked up a bronze last year in Winnipeg with a 3-2 record. Russell Marr led the way with 26 points. Brian Russell had 19, and Cam Pilon was between the pipes. It's a new era for USA Lacrosse, though. Jackson Curtis between the pipes, very solid so far. Ryan Colsey putting himself on the NLL map with his box performance here. And then you get the depth additions as well. I think of Nate Senes, who's a returning at this tournament. Phenomenal for USA. They win 14-7 and book their ticket to the gold medal match tomorrow.
Stay with us. We'll have the players of the game and the U.S. anthem after the players shake hands. And well, you got to give Israel credit for coming out with a better effort in the second half, but they just had put themselves in such a hole, and the U.S. is solid. They are really learning. You see, Oliver Marty is committed, and his staff, to bringing in coaches, to teaching these players to play real box lacrosse. And you can see the progress they're making. They're feeling confident. Little decisions they make out there, you can see they're coming along. They're getting it, and it is going to be very interesting to see this team develop over the years.
Three Americans with 4 points tonight. Ryan Colsey had 2 and 2. Jackson Carouan had 2 and 2, as did Nate Senes. Jason Pachota, 2 goals, 1 assist. Riley Strew had 2 as well. And between the pipes, Jackson Curtis with a .759 save percentage. Across the floor, Israel Jackson Baker, 3 goals, 1 assist for 4 points. Tompkins, Steen, and Burns had 3-point performances. Mark Rittberger stumped 35, good for a .714 save percentage. That's kind of the tales of the tape. USA got better goaltending, got better defense, and their offense produced. That's why they're going to the goal.
Better transition. So,
well, the special teams were even at 2 for 6 for each. Okay. USA also had the shorty, though.
So a slight edge. And they had one other goal that was a second after the penalty ended.
I'll say it does not count. Well, we get ready for Canada-Scotland in approximately 70 minutes time here in SaskTel Center. USA will get to hear their anthem one more time, and we head down to the floor. Chris Frox, the president of IIJL, is down there to hand out the Player of the Game awards.
And now for the Player of the Game presentations. For Team Israel, number 9, Jackson Baker.
No-brainer for Jackson Baker. Hat-trick, 1 assist, best player for Israel.
And for Team USA, number 13, Jason Pachetta.
Well, Pachota is going to get the player of the game for USA. He was great. He really captains the defense. 2 goals and an assist. If you're getting that type of production out of one of your defenders, well, you're pretty dang happy with your assistant captain.
And a key component to the defensive play as well. Big, solid, very smart, and I've mentioned a couple times how well he cleared the zone.
We'll head down to the floor now for the American National Anthem. Star-Spangled Banner sends USA to the final. They'll be playing tomorrow night at 8. Jackson Curtis and company, phenomenal. They beat Israel 14-7, the final score. USA's moving on. For myself, Cody Jansen, Steven Stamp, Ryan Flaherty, the entire broadcast crew here this evening. We'll talk to you in an hour when Canada takes on Scotland in the second semifinal.